Coach, thank you for taking time with us after the match. And same old 5-set match. Was this your 8th or 9th 5-setter?
I have no idea, but there are too many.
Well, and like you were telling the radio guys after the match, you think you have a day off tomorrow, probably well deserved. Can you just tell us your initial impressions of the match? The importance of being your crosstown rival, the importance of winning in 5 sets, and just the general environment of having 2,000 partisans in the house.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll work backwards, but the rivalry is something special. There's always some wrinkle, some story behind the story, and it's great to be a part of, and there's always an interesting matchup going on, and we're thrilled to get the win. We're thrilled that again we were able to win a match in 5. Every time you do that, you store away some valuable experience, because at the end of the day, the MPSF's a 2-point league. I've talked to a lot of coaches in our league about that, and it's sure seems like 2 points is, wins or loses you the game. And when you get to the 5th set, and that becomes a piece of it. And then when you get to April, but you have to be good in April if you're going to be any good, and if you have a shot to get to May. So, going 5 and winning in 5 is great. Having the rivalry match is great, especially as we're getting to the tail end of the season, because it's playoff atmosphere. And we're aspiring to be able to be playing at the end of the year. So this is huge experience for us, and we're thrilled to get the win. And the match was back and forth. I thought UCLA controlled the match real well in the first set, and I think the difference in the whole match was the serve pass battle. I think they were really pulling us off the net a lot. If you looked at our middles, all 3 of them, Robert, Tommy, and Andy, had great hitting numbers and were doing a nice job. Tommy just went into, Robert wasn't having a bad game. It's just at the time we needed to make a change, and Tommy played well, so he stuck with it. We're thrilled with the fact that we were able to outlast them maybe from the serve pass battle, because they were winning that big time in the first 2 sets. And we were fortunate to get away with the second set, because very end of set 2, we started to assert ourselves a little bit from the service line and start pulling them off the net a little bit and make their offense a little more predictable, where we had been before, leading up to that point. And then they obviously stepped on the gas pedal in the 3rd, and we had to answer in the 4th and win another tough one. But by then, I think, John and I had changed rotations so much throughout the match. We kept getting different matchups. And I think as we did that, I think it opened up, I think, I don't know if it was the matchup, so to speak, or if our guys were just getting more comfortable from the service line, putting more pressure on them, or, if it was different guys serving into areas that they were more comfortable. But we started being able to affect them more than they affected us. When it was all said and done, I think by the 4th and 5th, I think they had quite a few errors with very few aces, and I think we were in system a little bit more, which helped out. And I think that was the main difference in the match.
Can you elaborate more on your substitutions? I believe you had 13 players play tonight, and you talked already about Tommy coming off the bench, but also Christopher Arenik came off the bench and played pretty well after having a disappointing night last night.
Yeah, that means we'll probably have a bad match next time. It's been going for us.
But also, at the end of the 3rd set, you took out Micah and Varney out of the match. Can you talk about why you did that?
Yeah, we did that against Long Beach State too. We in the 3rd set, it was almost the exact same situation. It was just the game got away from us. We knew in order to win the match, we're gonna have to win in 5. We played a long 5-set match last night that was really tough, which started a little later, so we got probably an hour less rest of hour less of rest and preparation time. I mean, for the staff too, we were pretty exhausted tonight. So I knew that was going to be a factor. I thought it was really important to pull some of those guys off the floor and to get them a rest, and to regroup and to sit down. And, you know, with Micah, you always want to have them sit down and talk with Cam, who helps run our offense, and make sure they're on the same page going forward. And it was a way to just kind of reorganize. And what that does is, and that enabled Tommy Leonard to kind of break into the lineup last week against Long Beach. And, you know, it gives guys a chance to be on the floor. At some point, we're going to expect all these guys on our roster to contribute at one point in time. And when you're on the floor in a USC-UCLA match, no matter what the situation, they don't have that experience of being on the floor in a big-time match and a big-time atmosphere. So there really was no losing in that situation for us. I was pretty certain we were going to lose the set unless a miracle happened. And then, you know, at that point, it was just resting the guys and getting them ready and refocused for the fourth set. And it ended up working out in our behalf.
You already talked about how UCLA started off serving them well. They ended the last two sets with 9 service errors and 1 ace. What do you attribute that to?
I don't know. You know, it's tough to know what their strategy is as a team. Anything I say is just speculation, but I've observed that Stahl, you know, they weren't missing in the first couple sets, and those guys bring it from the line. All of them do. They serve well. That's one of the things John preaches in his gym, or at least maybe he doesn't. I don't know, but his team served really well, and so they were real hot early, and we figured if we could stay with them long enough that could turn. And I don't know if what the reason for their decrease in effectiveness was. I don't know if they were tired or if they're just happened to be circumstance or what. But that was the deal. They were the first couple sets. They were on fire. They were marvelous from the service line. And they were even better passing the ball. I mean, we could not make a dent in their passing. They were passing about, I think, a 3.5 or a little over a 3.5 through the first couple sets. And when you're passing the ball that well, your offense is going to be real efficient. And if you look at their numbers, you know, the first set they were siding out at 89%, and so they did a nice job, and then we were able to affect them at the end, which dipped their side out number. But yeah, they were just winning the serve pass, and it's going to go back to the serve pass battle every time.
In terms of blocking, you guys had a very cold start, and took a while to even register your first block. UCLA actually had a really strong start in that area. What adjustments did you make during the match to try to be a little stronger at the net?
Well, you can draw the direct correlation in the blocking. Our inability and their ability to, in the first couple sets, is their ability to affect us serving, and how well they passed the ball. I mean, they were just in the system. They had every hitter available for the lion's share of 2.5 sets, and so that's why their efficiency was going on offense, and we were unable to affect them real well with our block. And conversely, at the front end, they were serving great, and we weren't passing the ball on the net. We weren't able to run the middle or the bick too much, and so we were pretty predictable. So it was easy for them to get in front of us. We don't block a ton of balls. I think we block enough. We do a really nice job soft blocking the ball, and conversely, in the back row, we did a good job digging. So, you know, we lost the blocking battle 15.5 to 8, but we outdug them 55 to 49. So for us, that's almost as good, because that means we're going to get a swing to score.
From UCLA's standpoint, JT Hatch obviously jumps off the score sheet with 25 kills. Can you speak to his performance tonight?
Yeah, he's a fantastic kid. I saw him grow up through the USA pipeline, and actually my assistant coach Cam Green coached him a couple summers ago. And he's a neat kid. He's the kind of kid you want on your team. I think our roster was full, which may haunt me for 4 more years or 3.5 more years. But yeah, he had a great match, and JT's got a world-class arm. He's a lot like Tui, where he can change hitting speeds a lot, and he's got fantastic overhand ball control, which means he can carve the ball around a lot, and he can keep the block guessing. He can kind of drop his elbow and hit junk off of the block, and so then to counteract that as a blocker, lots of times you just go up later because you don't want to show him the block, and when you go up later, he'll speed up his arm and he'll hit fast and he'll beat the block. So he's very tough to play against. You have to be very disciplined, and he took advantage of us quite a bit tonight, and he had a great night. He hit, I think, 380 on 50 swings. So I think towards the end we were affecting him a little bit. So I'd hate to see what his number was going into the fourth, but no, he had a marvelous match, and we didn't have an answer for him, and we're gonna have to look at the film if we should happen to play UCLA again. That's definitely something we're gonna have to look at.
And let's finally talk about the rest of the schedule. Not to offend any of your future opponents, but it does get a little bit easier from here on out. You do still have a match waiting for you at in Malibu.
Don't go to Malibu.
Aside from that, and then you got a trip to Stanford as well.
Yeah.
But you still have the 2 matches against Cal Baptist, and you have a non-conference battle against Concordia.
Yeah.
Can you speak to, well, first, why you selected to play Concordia next month, and as opposed to another non-conference match, and what you are trying to instill in the team down the stretch?
Well, we're trying to, we had a couple buys throughout the season, and Cal Baptist is our travel partner, and we were only scheduled to play 1 match the final week of the season, and we were scheduled to play 1 match, I believe it was 2 weeks ago when we had a week off, and the Cal Baptist staff and us spoke, and we decided that why don't we go home and home that final week of the season. That'll give us each 2 matches to get ready for at the end of the year, which could be teams could want to rest. We kind of want to be, we want to be firing when we go into the playoffs. And we had a week off going to the playoffs last year, and it didn't work out so well for us. But so we ended up with that match, and so we wanted. We originally were supposed to play Concordia later in the week in 2 weeks, and so the NAIA changed it was either their conference or their national championship tournament, and we moved that earlier in the week, and Sean Patchell and I thought that was good. It gets them ready for the playoffs. They're a good team, and so I think it's a good match for us to be able to work on some things too, and then so that was the nexus of how all the scheduling part happened, and we ended up with the Concordia match, and so we felt like we wanted to have something in that week to kind of keep us fresh and keep us firing. So, and we've been able to schedule days off to counteract that as well.
Well, thank you for taking time with us, and from a personal standpoint, I do hope there are more 5-setters in your future.
Get out of here.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot.